Today with us, I'm excited to have Pastor Cedric Halbert. Pastor Halbert is from St. Louis, Missouri. Let's welcome Pastor Cedric Halbert.
Good evening, and greetings to you, Sister Shirley. Greetings to you all.
Let's go ahead and share your story about being a living donor and why you decided to give a kidney to your brother.
Yes. I am Pastor Halbert of the Dickinson Memorial Community Church in St. Louis, Missouri, and God moved upon my heart in April of 2022 to donate my left kidney to my big brother. It was a very holistic and spiritual thing, something that I never thought I would do. So it wasn't me, but it was the Spirit of God that moved upon my life to give my brother this kidney. My wife didn't believe me. I was gonna go through it. The kids thought I was crazy. But once again, they know Dad, they know me. When the Spirit of God is moving upon me, I don't care what nobody say. I'm gonna do what the Spirit telling me to do in obedience. And even my brother, I don't really think he was gonna believe. Did he really believe I was gonna do it? When I asked him to give me the number to the Kidney Foundation, because it was someone that he had that said they were going to donate, and for some kind of health reason, they couldn't do it. So immediately, the Spirit of God moved me to do it, and it's kind of hard to believe. It was just like a miraculous move of God, but nobody made me to do it. There was no bribery. It was just the Spirit of the Lord and wanted to help my brother and to show agape love.
Now, Pastor Halbert, could you share some of the things that what are some of the requirements in order to be a living kidney donor?
Okay. Number one, health is wealth. Health is wealth. You have to be healthy enough. Everybody can't do it. You may want to do it, but it don't work like that. You have to be healthy enough to donate a kidney. I've learned so much in this whole process. It's mind blowing. The donor and the recipient has to be, you got to be healthy enough to donate it. And then the recipient has to be healthy enough to receive it. So I thank God that my health, I got some health stuff going on, but it didn't block what God was doing. So your health has to be there. If you got high blood pressure, cholesterol problem, you're a drinker, you're a smoker, 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10, you probably won't be able to be a donor. But I'm 52 years young, and God has blessed me. Well, I've never had a chance. I never experienced drugs, drinking. I joke with my family a lot about it, but I never got involved in drinking, drugs, smoking cigarettes, smoking marijuana, none of that. So did I think God was setting me up to be a donor? No, it was just my choice. I didn't want to get involved in it. I just never did. So you have to be healthy enough, number one, in order to donate a kidney. And then on the recipient side, that person also has to be healthy enough to receive.
And let me ask this question. Did it cost you anything out of pocket to be a living donor?
And I know a lot of people may have heard different stories. No, it didn't cost me a thing. It was a sacrifice that God done through me to do it, but it didn't cost me anything. Any question that may come up that came up that the enemy tried to do to try to discourage me, to call me out of it, God was there. I mean, everything. The awesome BJC network in St. Louis, they the one took, they was involved in all of it. They were my counselors and things, and I mean, I had questions, and I had a bunch of questions. What if this? What if that? Do I have to pay this? Nothing. And that really encouraged me. And then also, I want to share this too. you know, it's always a what if. Anything could happen. So I asked, I said, well, what if down the line that I could have problems to where I may need need a kidney? Where do we go from here? She said, Mr. Halbert, because of you donating your kidney to your brother, guess what? You first on the list. Now, how can you beat that? You're number one on the list because you did a selfless thing. Hallelujah. So everything that the enemy would try to bring up to get me to cower out of it, God said, you're going to do it because I'm going to be with you every step of the way. God said, just trust me. Just trust me.
Now, I have one more question I'm going to ask, and then we're going to give some of our guests the opportunity to ask a question. My question would be, what would you share with someone who's considering giving a kidney to someone, but they're a little hesitant and it's only because of fear?
You know, I found out my kidney nurse coordinator said that she was sharing with me as I was going through the process. She said, we have mentors that you can talk to that already went through what you're finna go through. And she said, you need to talk to some of them, they're available. Talk to someone that has already come through the minefield. Talk to somebody who already been through it. Don't go by what you heard. Because a lot of times we get misinformation and it brings about fear, anxiety. Don't fall in that satanic trap. Because the enemy will try to do that. Always ask someone who has been through it. And then you'll get the clarity that you need. You'll get the clarity that you need. And through that, God will give you the peace of mind, amen, that you need to do this great work.
Well, thank you for that, Pastor Halbert. And at this point, we're going to stop and ask if anybody has a question before we go on to the next set of conversation.
I have a question, Pastor Halbert. Can you share how was your recovery process?
My job thought I was going to be down for like 2 months, but nobody knows but the Lord. Everybody's body heals differently. I was taking a whole food plant nutrition called Juice Plus that helped my body to heal, and it's available out there. And I just did everything they told me to do, and God blessed me. We didn't have no problems. I had this surgery in April, and I was free to go back to work. I could have went back before Memorial Day, but I went back, I think, the Monday after Memorial Day, something like that. So everything went accordingly. Everything, there was no kind of setbacks. There was no kind of setbacks. Them first 2 weeks, I would tell everybody, be careful because you're tender. The donor gets cut deeper than the recipient. I didn't know that. And it's tender down there. And they were saying, these first 2 weeks is critical. No reaching and picking up certain weight and pounds. Don't do that, because if you do that, Cedric, you can give yourself a hernia around your belly button area. You don't want that. So I came through that, and I went back to work on light duty, and I was fine, and I was fine, and I went back quicker than what they thought I was going to be back, and I haven't had any problem, man. No problem.
Living donors are really special people to make that sacrifice. A lot of times when we're out in the community and we are asking people to sign up, and when you sign up, you're agreeing to become a donor once it's your time to leave the earth. And, a lot of times we have to deal with people with the myths and misconceptions. And it is difficult to get people to say yes, even at that time. So, in order to be here on earth to make that kind of sacrifice, and really, you are a lifesaver because I don't know how many of you know, but the waiting list, that's why we're on during National Minority Donor Awareness Month, to let you know the waiting list is so long. There are so many waiting on a kidney, and the
All right.
majority of the people waiting are African Americans, and we're the least number to give.
Very, very true.
I just had one question. So I know we always talk about the risks of being a living donor, whether that be kidney or if you're a liver donor. What are the benefit or the benefits that you reaped from being a living kidney donor?
For me, my sister, just sharing the testimony and being here with you guys. I wouldn't be I wouldn't be on this platform for sure if God hadn't allowed this to happen. So just sharing testimony stuff, just sharing it to encourage someone. It has really been a blessing to me. I'm trying to share this without breaking down. But this wasn't on the radar. This was nowhere on the radar in my life to do this. So, you talking to somebody that knows somebody, that's one thing. But when you've been through it, you are the witness. And listen, can't nobody take it from you. Nobody can take it. So what it has done to me, it's like E.F. Hutton. When I'm talking, people listen like, I'm listening. I want to hear what he got to say because he's been through it. It's it's a very amazing and awesome experience to be a kidney donor, to know that God used me to save somebody's life. My blood type is O, and that's the universal. That's a blood type that I could have gave this kidney to anybody, but it was for my brother. My mother passed away. She was a diabetic, and she was having kidney failure. And I'm the baby. I'm the baby of 7 kids, and my other brothers, they tried to and they didn't fit. And I said, Mom, I'll do it. Let me try. This gonna be in my book that's coming out. The doctor appointment was set up for me to go and do this. And all of a sudden, my mother called me and tell me, she said, son, don't do it. That's all right. And I said, Mom, what? I said, why, Mom? She said, no. She said, you may need it for some other purpose or something. She said, no. And it took me a long time, right? My mother died. My mother died in December 2008. Took me a while to wrap my mind to get the understanding. But when God moved me to do this to give it to my big brother, it all came back full circle. My mother, I had some awesome parents. They introduced me to Christ. I truly believe in my heart. I said this on the national television network. I truly believe that God didn't allow me to give it to my mother, to give it to my big brother. And once again, it's a very humbling thing. It really is very humbling.
And let me add to the answer to that question. One of the benefits of being a living donor is it removes that person from the waiting list, which means that person wouldn't have to wait on an average for most those waiting on a kidney transplant. The waiting list is 4 to 5 years. And that's a person who is lucky if they can get one within that time, because I know people who waited 10, 12 years or more. So it moves that person up because it's a scheduled surgery. There is no waiting except the waiting to make sure you're a good match and everything like that. But it also gives somebody else who's on that waiting list the opportunity to move up on the list because of that living donor. So that's the benefit, another benefit that
Yes.
helps two persons.
And I want to share something else too, Sister Shirley. I was honored to pray for a lady I wouldn't have got connected to. Here we go again. I wouldn't have got connected to had I been a kidney donor myself. And she's always reach out. This lady is from out of California. I don't think she's African American, but she has been on dialysis for like 6 years. And she said she getting tired. She said her strength and just she weak a lot. And I said, we praying for you, sister. Just keep faith. I said, the same way God touched me to give Ernest mine, is somebody out there. And I'll be doggone. When she reached out to me and told me, it's so spiritual. When she reached out to me and told me, it was almost like I was going through this thing all over again because I was so happy for her. It came through. So I got a chance to pray for her before surgery. And that was real awesome. You know, that was awesome. That was an awesome experience for me.
Mr. Halbert, we're going to move on now and share with us about the documentary that you're planning to do in the future.
Yes, ma'am. We have started filming a documentary called My Brother's Keeper. And we started filming, and it's probably going to take another month or so to get everything done. And so I'm looking forward to be done sometime this fall. So, you know, once again, we just wanted to share it, get it out there, get the information out there. As Sister Shirley is doing so well to get rid of all the myths, to encourage people and give people hope. My surgeon, Dr. Welling, from the awesome BJC group, will be a part of it as well. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be very informative. And I'm looking forward to this. And I got something else cooking that I ain't ready to share yet, but it's coming. It's coming.
Oh, go on and spill that tea. Okay, go on and hold on to it. Since we talked to you, your book, tell us about that.
Yes, I am a new, on June the 3rd, I became a new published Christian author. And I thank God for that. That's a wow. I never saw this coming. My publishing company, Heartening Publishing, out of Dallas, Texas. And it's an awesome book. The kidney story is not in the book, but it still ties into it. And it's geared toward the book is geared toward the youth, but there's something in there for all of us to encourage us to keep fighting when whatever it is you may be going through that you feel like it's insurmountable. And trust God, God is bigger and greater than anything. And once we realize how big God is, it minimizes it shrinks it. It calms our fear. It wipes away the tears. And it puts us in a place of, God, I trust you. Regardless, I may not understand everything what you're doing in my life, but God, my life is all wrapped up and tied up in your hands. I trust you. I want to encourage everyone. The book is out. Get it. Amazon. The book now has 11 5-star ratings to it. It went number one. It went number one on Father's Day as a top new release. It's up under several categories. It went number one top new release under prayer, because I have a chapter in there called Prayer and Patience is the Key. So I just want to encourage you, get it through Amazon and leave the pastor and leave the pastor a review. But I might be coming to your town because I'm working on a book tour, and in November, which is my birthday month, November, December, I am scheduled to be in Dallas, Texas for another book signing. So you all, those of you who follow me on social media, I'll let you know the exact date when I get it. But that's all I have to share on that. That in November and December, I'm scheduled to be in Dallas, Texas.
Pastor Halbert, now I didn't hear it, but could you share the name of that book?
Don't you dare give up on God. Don't you dare give up on God. And I'll tell you that because why? Because he won't never give up on us. He's able. He's able. Don't you give up. The devil wants us to give up. The enemy pulling on us every day, trying to get us to give up. Don't believe. There's a attack going on in the body of Christ on our belief system. Believe anyway. Be like the man with the son with the dumb deaf spirit when he cried out and said, Lord, I believe, but help thy unbelief.
So before you had the surgery done, did you have to have like updated lab work before surgery was done, like every so often, or you just had it at one time?
That process, the testing part I had to go through, I need to share that. That went for like 4.5 months. I didn't think the testing part was gonna ever stop. But they took blood, they drew blood, all kind of blood. I mean, they checked me from head to toe. And man, so don't you worry about that. They gonna, if they find anything in there that could cause your life danger, they'll tell you. They'll tell you no, this wouldn't be healthy for you. But they checked me. They found one thing. I had to get plenty of blood work done. One day I was at the hospital almost 6 to 8 hours doing blood work. It was all day long. They did a colonoscopy on me. I went through that. That came back good. They found a small kidney stone with almost, I thought I was going to get disqualified. And I went to my primary doctor and she said, you don't have to get upset for no 2 millimeter kidney stone. She said, that thing got to be about 5 to 7 millimeters for you to get nervous about. She said 2 millimeters, but I had to do another test over and I passed it. And then that's when they said, they gave me a call on the way to work that you are eligible to give your brother the kidney. And that was like, man, that was an awesome phone call. Awesome phone call to hear that.
So how did you notify your brother that you were a match, and how did that story play out?
Oh, wow. He was at the car dealership. And he was so choked up he had to go outside. Can you imagine this? When I called, he in front of the people and he got choked up. He had to go outside. He couldn't contain himself. My brother had been waiting for like, I think about a year and a half, not long, but he was breaking down. He was starting to get depressed. And my nieces were trying to tell me, Uncle Cedric, Dad ain't gonna tell you, but this thing is taking a toll on him. And so it choked him up. We both crying like babies on the phone. Yes, I'm just honored that I was able to help him. And I know our parents were looking down on us. I know it, because that's how they raised us, to help and love one another. Yep.
Pastor Halbert, that was one of the most selfless things a person can give another person. And my question today is was your brother prior to that, was he like on dialysis for a period of time?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, he was. Oh boy, I think he was on dialysis something like, I don't know. I think it was about 2 years or something like that. And he didn't want to do that because he was very stubborn. He didn't want to do that, but yeah, he did it. And boy, he's every time we talk about this stuff, we get choked up. Every time we talk about it, the spirit is always there. But yeah, he was on dialysis for like 2 years or so. Mm-hmm. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then he got to talk about how mean spirited people used to start being, the people that was doing the blood, the bad spirit people. And I would just cry out to God, Lord, just show mercy. Use me to help him. I mean, boy, it just, listen, the surgery got canceled. The devil always try to bring in doubt. Lord help me. He always try to bring some doubt. The surgery got canceled 3 times because when you're having a major surgery, right, you got to be healthy, strong as possible. So it can't be no sinus infection. You can't have no cold, none of that. So I think he had got a sinus infection, and then there was something else that had happened, and he was starting to get discouraged again. And I'm trying to stay strong so he won't get discouraged. And it was a struggle, but look what God did though. But He did it. It was a struggle, but God, listen, God will bring you through the struggle. What about that? Yeah, it's a struggle, but God will bring you through the struggle to be a testimony. That's why I'm here today. That's why I'm just another recipient of God's grace and His mercy. That's all. Servant. I'm a servant of the Most High God.
I have another question, Pastor Halbert. As a transplant recipient, I know we have a lot of medication that we take and we'll take for the rest of our lives. As a living donor, is there any medication that you have to take?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I just try to do my best to eat, exercise, and my wife, she just walked out the door, she'd tell you, and getting frustrated about making sure I'm drinking the proper water take. That's it. That's it. No, ma'am. I don't have to. I just went to I got a new primary doctor, and I'm a pastor now, and my stress level is different, and they want me to make sure that I monitor and make sure I'm not on any kind of high blood pressure medicine or nothing like that. I thank God for that. But they want to make sure we keep that stress in check. People don't understand, stress is dangerous, and you can't live in this life without it. So that's another reason why we need Jesus to help us to deal with this life stuff. So no, I have no, man. I can do what I've done before the surgery. They just gave me pre-warnings, like stuff like this. My kidney nurse said if I ever was in a bad car accident, if I had a bad fall, we could have some problems. But that could happen anyway. I trust God. God got my life has been given to Christ, and I can't worry about that. I just have to trust God that He's gonna take care of His preaching. He's gonna take care of me.